Okay. Okay. Question. Could you give more pointers to the natural state? It seems easy when I'm aware, but most of the time it's not the case. It seems easy when I'm aware, but most of the time it's not the case. So why not be more aware then? What's the need for more pointers if you already know that by being aware it's easy? Right? It's not a secret. I think open secret is a good term because it's hidden in the plain sight, right? Hidden in the plain sight, and like we talk about Buddhas and we talk about Tibet and we talk about a master with an exotic name and we talk about great perfection, which is a translation for Chokchen. But don't be fooled by these terms, these fancy terms. They are just terms. Each of you have had at least one bhumi opening. And of course, smaller glimpses. That is the Buddha nature. That is the awake awareness. There is no other Buddha nature. There is no nature that is more than that. It is easy to get fooled in a way that there would be something magical or more real or more fancy, more decorated, but that is not the case. Simple reality, simple mind, just naked awareness. Could not being vegetarian hold me back on the path? Well, I think it's good to remember whether we are vegetarian or not. It's good to remember that not take food or actually anything in our life for granted. So all these things in our life, in our safe and safe and well organized lives in the West, there's a lot of different conditions behind our lives, our daily lives. At one point, I mentioned we were talking about mystical or supernatural things on this retreat, and at one point I asked you that where do you think you were 1 year before you were born, and in general, Buddhism teaches reincarnation. You don't have to believe it. It will come about at some point of your meditation practice, and you will remember something from your previous lives. Maybe you remember that you were a yogi or a yogini. Maybe you remember that you were a salesman, a merchant, or a priest, or a farmer. Maybe you were a beggar. Maybe you were ill, very ill at some point. You remember something. Maybe you were hungry. You probably were at some point. Maybe in this life too. So, as beings, we are in this massive, vast wheel. Called Wheel of Life. These 6 realms and transmigration through 6 realms. So, whether we are vegetarians or not, or whatever we have in our lives, these things change from life to life, from life period to another life period. You might have more, you might have less, you might have less, you might have more. More freedoms, less freedoms. Less freedoms, more freedoms. Can Guru Yoga open bhumis? I am trying to understand the role of Guru Yoga in OH practice relative to OH yoga. What does each practice do? Can Guru Yoga open bhumis? Yes. I think that the main thing to at least one of the main factors for opening bhumis is knowing about opening of bhumis. That they can be opened. That it's kind of clearly defined what it means and how it happens. So the role of Guru Yoga in open heart in relation to open heart yoga. What does each practice do? So open heart yoga with all the deities and yogic techniques is like the let's say the washing machine with a washing detergent and what is the substance that makes clothes what? Conditioner. It makes it soft. So it's like that. So it washes it, puts hot water there, mixes the detergent, then it gives it a spin, washes it properly, and finally, what's the fast spinning? Spinning. Does all that and gives out good smelling clothes to wear. So that is like open heart yoga. Cleaning of the karmic body, energy body, everything in it. And then it's kind of it cannot be really clearly cut which does which. Guru Yoga also has a purifying effect on the mind. But I would say that Guru Yoga, on the other hand, mostly makes you experience because you are in the affinity close to a master. In your own body, you are feeling master's presence. So this reveals your own true nature. That's it. Could you expand on the approach to Guru Yoga? Should we be practicing with an attitude of love and devotion? And if so, how would we do that? Or do we just chant and feel the blessings? Well, another way of asking this is that does it really matter to us? Does it really matter to the Guru if our emotions are not involved? Like if we are not emotionally engaged, does it matter to ourselves? And will it touch, will it draw him or her to you? Do you understand? So I think that love and devotion are very good and describing words, but also like to describe the same kind of terrain, emotional terrain, sincerity, honesty. That kind of purity of mind. This is not tricks, not something difficult or very high or distant. I'm talking about our human emotions, right? I think that something that Buddhism as large lacks is this love, lacks love. Buddhism talks about compassion towards ourselves and others, but I think that love has to precede it. Precede? Has to come before that. You can't just be compassionate out of nothing. It has to have fuel. Like when I mentioned the previous chanting session that we did, I briefly told you in the beginning to go feel your heart and feel that love from there. And did you notice how clear the shift, the change was? Feel it now. Is there a self in this love? Is it really an emotion like other emotions? What is it? Is it something that is generated or created by you? Or is it just there? Different question, of course, whether we notice it and whether we are able to live it. This love, the aliveness aspect of natural state as love, see how it feels around the body. How it feels in the center of your body, in the center of your being. Does this feel meaningful? Does it feel right? Or does it feel fabricated or fake? The thing is that in this samsaric world, where most people don't have Dharma available to them and therefore are confused, entangled into these strong negative emotions. In this world, surrounded by such people and their actions, it easily happens that the heart closes. But fortunately, it can also open. Like this. Again, this is not some, toxicated in bliss, hippie, love, woo woo. Something real, something profound, meaningful. And here's the thing. So this love, awareness as love, Buddha nature, awakened nature as love, I think I can speak on behalf of all of us. You can still be in that experience. That it feels right. Right, it feels right, as in it feels natural. But here's the thing. Does it have extremes in it? And does it have sides to it? It is like we were chanting yesterday, Kuntuzangpo and Kuntuzangmo mantras. Kuntuzangpo, all goodness, basic goodness. This is the basic goodness, isn't it? Something like a utterly positive life, utterly positive life force that is dynamic. It is both dynamic and stable. I'm going through this describing. So as I'm saying these pointers, you can check in your own experience. If it is so. So if we think of good and bad in common terms, like I'm meaning good and bad, like preferals. I prefer this, I don't prefer that. I want this, I don't want that. Of course, this discrimination can come from clarity of mind. That is another thing. But it can also come from the petty, small self, me. So I'm talking about good and bad from that small self perspective. Is this love? How does it relate to that small-minded good and bad? Small-minded dualism, small-minded mind action. We are doing the two-part formula again, aren't we? Is this love awareness true and real? in this experience, how are the three bodies, physical, aura, and the third body beyond aura? Is there difference between the three? And again, is there anyone there? Is there a self there? Is there a self enjoying it? If there is, your experience is not correct. I am not pointing to ego satisfaction. And does this love and awareness concern all beings? Check through your own experience. You have the tools, since you have the body and the mind. Is this love and awareness something that concerns, touches, is all beings? May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May all beings become free and realize that all beings are already free. All beings are free. All beings are free. To make this a little bit more relevant to ourselves, the point is that the real you is already free. The real you, the real me, the real Carl, James, Matthew, Gwen, Monica, Shane, Luke, Alan, Owen, Andy, Simon, Fergal, Robert, Joe, Sean, Andrew, Carl, Matt, Mike, Elaine, Michael, and Jonathan. The real you. The thing is that if you weren't already free, you could never become free. That sounds silly, but that's how it is. We have ultimate body awareness and these two relative ones, physical and energetic. But awareness, the real you, is already free and already present. Already brimming with love and joy and stability, creativity, art, life. Let's say the short body citta. May all beings be free. Together 3 times. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May all beings be